I always thought my sister, Vanessa, and I were close. People said we looked alike, laughed alike, and even dreamed alike. But they didn't know the truth. Behind her perfect smile was a storm waiting to explode, and I was about to get caught in it. It started the night before my promotion at work. I had worked for years, staying late, sacrificing weekends, just to finally get my dream position. I had imagined celebrating with my family, my sister cheering the loudest. But instead, Vanessa showed up at my apartment with that fake grin, carrying a bottle of expensive wine. "I can't believe you actually got it," she said, her voice dripping with sweetness. "I guess hard work really does pay off, sometimes." I smiled back, trusting her. I shouldn't have. By the next morning, everything had changed. My boss called me, cold, distant, furious. "Claire, I don't know how to say this, but someone leaked confidential files. And they were traced back to your computer." My heart sank. I stared at my laptop, stunned. I didn't do it. I would never do it. But the evidence was undeniable. And worse, Vanessa was nowhere to be found when I tried to confront her. That's when it hit me. She had done it. My own sister. The person I trusted more than anyone in the world had destroyed me in a single night. I wanted to scream, cry, anything, but I couldn't. Everyone around me believed her lies, and I was left alone in the ruins of my reputation, my dreams, and my life. But deep inside, a fire ignited. I wasn't going to stay broken. Vanessa had taken everything from me, and I swore in that moment that I would take everything from her too. This was the beginning of my plan. And Vanessa, she had no idea of the storm that was coming. After that night, my life felt like it was falling apart. Every morning, I woke up with a heavy heart, thinking about what Vanessa had done. I lost my promotion, my coworkers avoided me, and even my friends looked at me differently. I kept asking myself, why did she do this? Why my life? But crying, begging, or getting angry wouldn't help. I needed a plan. And I needed it to be perfect. I couldn't just lash out. Vanessa had been careful. She had fooled everyone, including me. If I wanted revenge, I had to be smarter than her. I started small. I watched her. I listened. I remembered everything she liked and everything she feared. Vanessa was proud, maybe too proud. She loved attention. She loved feeling better than everyone else. That was her weakness, and I would use it. I found out she had a huge secret. She had been lying about her savings and the investments she bragged about to everyone. She thought no one knew. I smiled when I learned this. Everyone has a weak spot. Hers was money. The next step was patience. I couldn't act too soon. Vanessa had to feel safe. She had to trust that I was weak, broken, and defeated. Every day, I put on my mask of sadness. I pretended to be quiet, hurt, and lonely. I let her see me as a shadow of who I used to be. At work, I stayed invisible. I never said a word about what happened. I let everyone believe I had lost my mind. But secretly, I was writing down everything. Every habit of hers, every friend, every lie. I needed information. I needed power. One evening, I followed her without her knowing. Vanessa went to a cafe she loved, sitting in a corner, scrolling on her phone. I watched from across the street. She smiled at messages I couldn't see. She laughed, completely unaware that I was there. That laugh. That perfect, careless laugh. It made my blood boil. But I stayed calm. I reminded myself, anger was dangerous. Patience was power. I took out my notebook and wrote. Vanessa loves attention. Vanessa trusts no one but herself. Vanessa has secrets. Every detail mattered. Every moment counted. Then came the first test. I needed to make her feel a small loss, something she couldn't explain, something that would confuse her. I didn't want to hurt her yet. I wanted fear, just a little fear. So I started with her friends. I spread small rumors carefully so they wouldn't know it was me. I whispered tiny truths mixed with lies. Her friends began to doubt her. Some ignored her calls. Some avoided her. Vanessa noticed, but she didn't know why. I watched her panic from a distance, smiling quietly. Next, I began planning how to hit her where it would hurt the most. Her reputation, her pride, and her control. I knew her schedule, her favorite spots, and the people she relied on. I mapped everything in my notebook, drawing lines and circles like a detective. It felt strange, writing all of this about my own sister, but I knew what had to be done. Weeks passed. Vanessa was still the same, laughing, shopping, and bragging about life. She thought I was broken, harmless, a shadow. And that was my advantage. I even started to create a new persona online, someone who could get close to her secrets without her noticing. I spent nights learning, researching, and pretending. It was exhausting, but every night, I went to bed smiling, knowing I was closer to my revenge. Then one day, Vanessa made a mistake. A small one. She left her phone on the table while rushing out. I picked it up when she left and found messages with a man she trusted completely. Messages she never wanted me to see. My heart raced, not with anger this time, but with excitement. This was it. This was the first real chance to start taking back what she had stolen from me. I didn't do anything yet. I saved everything. I studied it. I waited. Because timing was everything. Revenge had to be perfect. That night, I sat in my room, looking at my notebook, looking at her messages, smiling in the dark. She ruined my life. Now it's my turn. And when I'm done, Vanessa will wish she never existed. I whispered to myself, almost like a prayer, "You took everything from me, now I take everything from you." And just like that, the game began. Vanessa thought I was finished. That was the funny part. She thought I was weak. She thought I was broken. She thought I was still crying in my room every night, thinking about the life I lost. And I let her believe it. I made sure she believed it. I stopped dressing well. I stopped smiling around her. When she talked, I listened quietly and nodded like I had no thoughts of my own. Sometimes, I even let my eyes look empty. Vanessa liked that version of me. It made her feel powerful. One afternoon, she came to my place without calling first. "I was worried about you," she said, looking around my small room. "You've been so quiet lately." Her voice sounded kind, but I knew better. Vanessa didn't worry about anyone but herself. "I'm fine," I said softly. "Just tired." She smiled. That smile again. The smile that fooled everyone. "You know," she said, sitting down, "life is hard sometimes. But you'll be okay. You just need time." I almost laughed. She destroyed my life, and now she was giving advice. That day, I realized something important. Vanessa was relaxing. She thought the danger was over. And when people relax, they make mistakes. From that moment, I decided to step closer to her instead of pulling away. I started calling her more. I asked her for help sometimes. I acted like I needed her. This made her happy. She liked feeling needed. She liked feeling above me. Soon, she started talking more than she should. She talked about her money. She talked about her plans. She talked about her secrets. She didn't know I was listening carefully to every word. One night, we were having dinner together. She was drinking wine, laughing loudly, enjoying herself. "You know," she said, waving her glass, "people think I'm lucky. But luck has nothing to do with it. I'm just smarter than everyone else." I looked at her and said nothing. Then she leaned closer to me and lowered her voice. "You remember your promotion?" she asked. My heart stopped for a second. "Yes," I replied calmly. She smiled slowly. "Life is about timing. Some people rise. Some people fall." She didn't say my name. She didn't need to. I knew she was talking about me. In that moment, I knew one thing clearly. Vanessa felt no guilt. Not even a little. She enjoyed what she had done. That night, I went home and wrote in my notebook. She feels safe. She feels proud. She feels untouchable. That was perfect. The next part of my plan was trust. Real trust. I needed her to trust me again, fully. So I made a big move. I apologized. I called her and said, "I've been thinking. I'm sorry if I ever made you uncomfortable. I know you didn't mean to hurt me." There was silence on the line. Then she said, "I'm glad you understand." That was it. She swallowed the lie easily. After that, she started involving me in her life. She asked me to help her with small things, emails, documents, and even some money matters. She said she trusted me because I was family. Family. That word tasted bitter in my mouth. But I smiled and helped her. Every file she shared, every password she typed, every mistake she made, I collected them all. At the same time, the fake online account I created was getting closer to her too. She thought she had made a new friend. Someone who admired her. Someone who listened to her complaints and praised her beauty. She didn't know that friend was me. Through that account, I learned even more. About her debts. About her lies. About the people she had betrayed before me. I wasn't special. I was just the latest victim. That made me angry. But it also made me stronger. Weeks passed. Vanessa's life looked perfect on the outside. Nice clothes. Nice pictures. Happy smiles. But underneath, cracks were forming. Small cracks. Invisible to her. I started connecting the pieces. I knew who depended on her, I knew who secretly hated her, I knew who would turn on her if given a reason. And I was about to give them that reason. One evening, as she hugged me goodbye, she whispered, "I'm proud of you. You're handling everything so well." I hugged her back and thought to myself, you have no idea. That night, I didn't write in my notebook. I didn't need to. The plan was ready. Very dramatic, very long, and written in simple English, perfect for YouTube storytelling and strong audience retention. Vanessa's life still looked perfect. She posted pictures every day. Smiling. Traveling. Showing off her clothes and her food. People praised her in the comments. They called her strong, smart, and successful. But I knew the truth. The cracks were growing. And it was time to push. I started with something small, something quiet. I sent an anonymous email to one of the companies she worked with. The email didn't lie. It only asked questions. Simple questions that made people curious. Questions are dangerous. When people start asking questions, lies begin to shake. A few days later, Vanessa called me. Her voice was sharp. "Do you know anything about this?" she asked. "About what?" I replied calmly. "This company is suddenly asking for documents. Old ones. Things they never cared about before." I acted surprised. "That's strange." She sighed. "It's probably nothing." But it wasn't nothing. Over the next week, more questions came. More emails. More phone calls. Vanessa started losing sleep. She checked her phone all the time. She stopped laughing the way she used to. One night, she came to my place again. "I don't understand," she said, pacing the room. "I've done everything right." I watched her closely. This was the same woman who smiled while my life burned. I said softly, "Maybe someone is trying to hurt you." She stopped walking and looked at me. "Why would anyone do that?" she asked. I shrugged. "People get jealous." She nodded slowly. That answer made sense to her. Vanessa always believed people wanted what she had. Then I made my next move. I let her talk. When people are scared, they talk too much. She told me about missing money. About the fake numbers she used to cover it. About how she planned to fix everything later. Later never comes. I listened like a caring sister. Inside, I was calm. Cold. Focused. After she left, I didn't sleep. I organized everything. Every message. Every document. Every lie. Then I leaked one small piece. Just one. Enough to make someone look closer. 2 days later, Vanessa's phone rang non-stop. She didn't answer mine. She didn't answer anyone. When she finally came to see me, her eyes were red. "They froze my account," she whispered. I acted shocked. "What? How?" "They say they need time to investigate." Investigate. That word crushed her. For the first time, Vanessa looked small. Not powerful. Not proud. Just scared. She started blaming people. Friends. Co-workers. Even strangers. She never blamed me. Why would she? I was the broken sister. The harmless one. That made everything easier. Her friends started pulling away. Some stopped replying. Some acted distant. People don't stay close when they smell trouble. I watched her fall slowly. Then something unexpected happened. She apologized. "I know I haven't always been kind," she said one night, sitting beside me. But I've been under a lot of pressure. I looked at her and felt nothing. No pity. No love. Only patience. I told her, we all make mistakes. She smiled weakly. She had no idea how deep her mistake was. That same night, I heard her crying in the bathroom. Loud. Broken. The sound followed me into my dreams. But I didn't stop. Because what she did to me was worse. By the end of the month, her name was being whispered. People avoided her. Opportunities disappeared quietly. Vanessa was falling. And this was only the beginning. In the mirror, I looked at myself and barely recognized the person staring back. I was no longer the sister she destroyed. I was something else now. Vanessa's world was crumbling. She didn't know it yet, but every step she took, every breath she drew, was part of my plan. Every friend who avoided her, every opportunity that slipped away, it was me. I had waited, I had watched, I had collected the weapons of her downfall, and now it was time to strike harder. It started with her phone. I knew she was paranoid now. She double-checked every message, every email, and every call. And one night, I made sure she would never feel safe again. I sent her a simple text from an unknown number. I know what you did. I'm watching. She froze. Her hands trembled. She showed the phone to no one. She didn't call me. She didn't call anyone. She just sat there, staring at the screen, her mind spinning. Fear was beginning to seep into her bones. The next morning, her day began to fall apart. At work, her files were missing. Important contracts she had spent months preparing? Gone. Emails vanished. Computer errors appeared everywhere. People whispered. They stared. She tried to blame the system, her team, anyone but herself, but the cracks were visible. Her confidence was breaking. And that was just the start. I didn't just want her scared. I wanted her desperate. So I made small attacks, one after another. A missed call here. A deleted document is there, a sudden bank alert she couldn't explain, quiet friend who suddenly became distant. Vanessa tried to fight back. She accused co-workers. She demanded explanations. She yelled at people. But no one could help her. No one knew the truth. Only I did. One night, I saw her from across the street. She was sitting alone on a park bench, crying, hugging her knees. I watched her, heart steady, notebook in my bag, my plan getting clearer with every tear. I remembered what she did to me, the look on her face when I lost my promotion, the laughter that followed. Every memory made me sharper, colder, and smarter. It was time to take it further. I started leaving small things at her door. Anonymous packages. Notes. A photo of her from a week ago with a message. You're not safe. The first time she found one, she panicked. She didn't scream. She didn't call me. She just hid it under a pile of clothes and looked over her shoulder constantly. Fear was consuming her. And I was feeding it, piece by piece. Then came the confrontation I had been waiting for. She called me one night. Her voice was shaking. Obi, did you? She stopped, almost choking. I stayed quiet. I let her think. I don't understand. Everything is falling apart. How is this happening? I said softly, maybe someone is trying to teach you a lesson. A lesson, she whispered, her voice small. I don't deserve this. I let out a small sigh, pretending sadness. I just hope you learn before it's too late. She didn't ask more. She didn't know who I was talking about. Over the next few days, I watched her move like a shadow. She stopped going out alone. She avoided her friends. She locked her doors. She changed her routines. Every move she made, I anticipated. Every fear she had, I amplified. And then, I struck where it would hurt the most. Vanessa's reputation. I sent anonymous messages to everyone she had ever trusted. Friends. Colleagues. People who owed her favors. I revealed lies she had told, small betrayals, her debts, the things she worked so hard to hide. The response was immediate. People whispered. People avoided her. Invitations disappeared. Calls stopped. Even her social media followers began questioning her. Vanessa felt it immediately. Her perfect world was burning. She tried to fight back. She called me one last time, almost pleading. Obi, if this is you, stop. Please. I don't want this. I smiled quietly to myself. It wasn't me. Not yet. She didn't know the truth. And that was the most delicious part. By the end of chapter 5, Vanessa was broken in a way I hadn't been before. She was desperate, afraid, suspicious of everyone. But she still didn't know who her real enemy was. I leaned back in my chair that night, notebook open. I had planned every detail, every move, every fear, and I whispered softly, "You took my life. Now I take yours, piece by piece." Vanessa was no longer sleeping. I could see it in her eyes. Dark circles, slow movements, shaking hands. The strong, proud woman was disappearing, and fear was taking her place. She started looking over her shoulder everywhere she went. Every sound made her jump. Every phone message made her freeze. Every stranger felt like an enemy. And slowly, she started to suspect that someone close to her was behind it all. That was dangerous. Fear makes people careless, but suspicion makes them sharp. One afternoon, she came to my place without warning. No smile. No fake kindness. Just tension. She sat down and stared at me for a long time. Too long. "You've changed," she said. I looked confused. "Changed how?" "You're calm," she replied. "Too calm." My heart beat faster, but my face stayed soft. "I've been through a lot," I said. "Maybe I'm just tired of fighting." She watched my eyes closely, like she was searching for something hidden inside me. Then she said something that surprised me. "Someone is trying to destroy me." I nodded slowly. "I know." Her eyes narrowed. "How do you know?" I paused. "Not too long. Just enough." "You told me," I said. She leaned back, not fully convinced. That night, I knew I had to be more careful. Vanessa was no longer blind. She was scared, and scared people look for patterns. So I pulled back. I stopped sending messages, I stopped leaking things, I stopped leaving signs. Silence is powerful. When the attack stopped, her fear grew worse. She didn't relax. She panicked. Because now she didn't know when the next hit would come. Days passed. She started isolating herself. Friends were gone. Money was frozen. Work was unstable. The life she showed online was fake now, and everyone could feel it. One evening, she called me crying. "I don't know who to trust," she said. "Everyone is against me." I stayed quiet, letting her talk. "I keep thinking, maybe it's someone close. Someone who knows me well." I swallowed hard. "Sometimes," I said gently, "we hurt people without realizing it." She stopped crying. "What do you mean?" I stood up and walked to the window, pretending to think. "I mean, actions have consequences." She didn't answer. That silence told me something important. She was remembering. She was remembering me. After that call, she became distant, cold. She watched me the way I watched her before. She tested me. She lied to see if I would react. She shared fake plans to see if something would go wrong. She checked her phone when I was around. But I had already prepared for this. I made sure nothing pointed back to me. Then she made her biggest mistake. She went to the police. She told them someone was stalking her, threatening her, destroying her life. They listened. They asked questions. But she had no proof. No face. No name. And when they asked, "Do you suspect anyone?" she hesitated. That hesitation saved me. Because suspicion without proof is useless. Still, I knew the game was changing. Vanessa wasn't just scared anymore. She was angry. And anger makes people do stupid things. One night, she showed up drunk. "You ruined me," she said, tears and anger mixed together. I stayed calm. "Who did?" She laughed bitterly. "I don't know anymore." She grabbed my arm. "But whoever it is, they know me. They know my past." I looked into her eyes and said quietly, "Maybe they remember everything." She let go of me like my skin burned her. That was the moment I knew. She knew something. Not the truth. But close enough to be dangerous. That night, I wrote one sentence in my notebook. The end is near. Because now, this was no longer just revenge. It was war. And in the next chapter, everything will explode. Secrets will come out. Lines will be crossed. And someone will finally break. Vanessa was no longer hiding her fear. She was shaking now. Not inside. Outside. People could see it. Her voice was sharp. Her words were careless. She snapped at strangers. She argued with friends. She burned bridges without even knowing it. The calm, perfect woman was gone. And that was when she finally broke. It happened at a family gathering. Everyone was there. Cousins. Aunts. Old friends. People who still believed Vanessa was strong and successful. People who once looked at me like I was the failure. Vanessa arrived late. Her makeup was heavy, but it couldn't hide the stress on her face. She smiled too much. Laughed too loudly. Drank too fast. I watched quietly from my seat. Then someone asked the wrong question. "So Vanessa," an aunt said kindly, "how is work? We heard you were doing very well." The room went silent. Vanessa froze. Her glass shook in her hand. "It's fine," she said quickly. "Everything is fine." But everyone could hear the lie. Another person spoke. "Didn't that company stop working with you?" Vanessa's eyes flashed toward me. Just for a second. That was all I needed. Her face changed. Her smile disappeared. Anger rose like fire. "You," she said suddenly, pointing at me. The room gasped. "What?" I asked softly. "You've been acting innocent," she shouted, standing up. "But this started when you came back into my life." Everyone stared at us. My heart raced, but I stayed calm. "Vanessa," I said gently, "you're drunk." That made her scream. "Don't lie," she yelled. "You lost your job. You lost everything. And suddenly my life starts falling apart." People whispered. Vanessa was crying now. Shaking. Breaking. I stood up slowly. "Are you saying I did this?" I asked. She hesitated. That hesitation was loud. Because she had no proof. None. "I don't know," she said. "But someone is punishing me. Someone who hates me." I looked around the room. "Does anyone here think I did this?" I asked calmly. No one answered. Some people shook their heads. Others looked uncomfortable. Vanessa realized it too late. She looked crazy. The strong woman everyone admired now looked unstable and dangerous. She ran out of the room crying. That night destroyed her image. After that, people stopped calling her completely. Then came the next mistake. Vanessa sent me a long message. She confessed. Not everything. But enough. She wrote about jealousy. About anger. About how she never meant for things to go that far, with my promotion. About how she thought I would recover. I read the message 3 times. My hands were steady. This was what I had been waiting for. I saved it. Backed it up. Copied it. Then I replied with one sentence. "I forgive you." That sentence destroyed her. Because forgiveness scared her more than anger. The next day, she called me over and over. I didn't answer. I let silence do the work. She left voice messages, crying, begging, and angry. "I know it's you," she said in one. "Just admit it." But I never did. Instead, I made my final move quietly. I shared her message with the right people. Not everyone. Just enough. People who mattered. People who would talk. And talk they did. The story spread fast. Vanessa didn't just fall. She collapsed. By the end of the week, she had lost everything she loved most. Her name. Her respect. Her power. She sat alone now, in a small apartment, afraid to go out. And me? I was finally breathing again. But the story wasn't over. Because revenge does not end when the enemy falls. It ends when the truth is faced. Vanessa had changed. She was no longer the confident, proud woman everyone admired. She was smaller. Not physically. But in her mind. Every step she took was measured. Every word she spoke was careful. Every glance she gave was suspicious. I watched her from a distance for days. She didn't notice me, but I noticed everything. The way she walked alone, always checking behind her. The way her hands shook when she opened her bank app. The way her eyes searched every person she passed. She was afraid. Terrified, even. But there was more. She was angry. And anger is dangerous. I knew she had to break before I finished this. She had to hit rock bottom. And I was patient. I started with small reminders. A knock on her door late at night, a note in her mailbox with no signature, a package with nothing inside but a picture of her apartment from the outside. She didn't call the police this time. Not yet. I wanted her to feel alone. Isolated. Vulnerable. It worked. She stopped going out at night. She barely answered her phone. She didn't talk to her friends anymore. She had no one. And then one night, I appeared. Not as a threat. Not as the person she suspected. But as a sister. She was sitting on her couch when I knocked. She froze. "Obi," she whispered. I opened the door. "Can I come in?" She didn't answer. She just stepped aside. I walked in slowly. I sat across from her. Silence filled the room. "You," she started, voice trembling. "I know it's you. I know it's all you." I looked at her calmly. "Do you?" Tears filled her eyes. "I trusted you. I let you back in my life. And this, all of this, is your revenge." I nodded. Quietly. Her anger exploded. She stood up. "You destroyed me. You ruined everything I had. My friends, my work, my life. How could you?" I stayed seated. Calm. Cold. "You did it to me first." She froze. I don't understand. What are you talking about?" "You know," I said slowly, letting each word sink in. "The promotion. The job. The file that disappeared. That night when everyone believed your lies. That was the start." Her hands went to her face. "No, that can't be." I leaned forward. "You took everything from me. My reputation. My dream. My future. I begged. I pleaded. I trusted you. And you smiled while it all burned." She looked at me, wide-eyed, trying to remember if that was true. She remembered. She always remembered. I didn't mean," she started. "But you did," I interrupted. "And I made sure you would feel it. Every moment. Every step. Every fear you have now. It's because of you." She sank back onto the couch, shaking. I don't know what to do." "You do," I said. "You survived your worst enemy. But now, you face me. The one you destroyed." Tears streamed down her face. She whispered, "Please, stop." I'll do anything. Just don't." I raised my hand. "This isn't about stopping. This is about justice. And justice is mine." She looked up at me, fear and regret in her eyes. I don't deserve this." "You deserved it," I said softly. "Every second. Every lie. Every smile that killed me inside. You deserve to feel powerless, afraid, and alone. And now you do." She buried her face in her hands. I hate you. And I love you. And Her words trailed off. She didn't finish. She couldn't. I stood up. I walked to the door. Before leaving, I said one thing. "Remember this, Vanessa. I am the sister you destroyed. And I will always be the shadow that waits for your mistakes." Then I left. The silence after I left was deafening. That night, she didn't sleep. She didn't move. She didn't call anyone. She was alone with herself, staring at what remained of her life. And for the first time, Vanessa realized she had no one to blame but herself. She had underestimated me. She had thought revenge was petty, small, and harmless. She didn't know it could be slow, smart, and inevitable. And now, it was over. But I didn't celebrate. Not yet. Because revenge is not about celebration. It's about closure. And closure is not sweet. It's cold. It's quiet. It's satisfying in ways no one can explain. I looked back once before leaving her building. She was sitting on the couch, completely still. Broken. Afraid. Alone. And I knew, without saying it, that I had won. But I also knew one thing. The story wasn't over until she truly understood what it meant to lose everything. After that night, Vanessa disappeared. Not completely. She was still alive. Still breathing. But she was gone from the world she once ruled. No more pictures online, no more loud laughter, no more proud messages. Days passed. Then weeks. People started asking questions. Where is Vanessa? Is she okay? What really happened to her? And that was exactly what I wanted. Because silence creates curiosity. And curiosity brings the truth to the surface. Vanessa tried to rebuild quietly. She went to interviews. She begged old friends for help. She even tried to start small businesses. But everywhere she went, the same thing happened. Doors closed. People smiled politely, then stopped replying. Her name had become heavy. Suspicious. Uncomfortable. She was known now. Not as successful. Not as powerful. But as someone who could not be trusted. One afternoon, she called me. Her voice was weak. Almost empty. I'm tired, she said. I can't run anymore. I said nothing. I keep thinking about what I did to you, she continued. I replay it in my head every night. Still, I stayed silent. You didn't deserve it, she whispered. I ruined you because I was afraid you would outshine me. There it was. The truth. Not shouted, not forced, but broken out of her slowly. She confessed everything. How she copied the files. How she used my laptop. How she deleted the proof. How she smiled while everyone blamed me. I recorded the call. Not for revenge. For the end. She cried. Not pretty tears. Real ones. The kind that hurt. I thought destroying you would make me feel safe, she said. But it didn't. It destroyed me instead. I finally spoke. You took my future, I said calmly. And you never said sorry. I'm sorry, she cried. I'm so sorry. The words came too late. The next day, I did the last thing I had planned. I sent the truth to the right people. Not the internet. Not the whole world. Just the ones who mattered. My old boss. The company board. The people who ruined my name. I sent the proof. The messages. The recording. The confession. This time, there was no silence. They called me. They apologized. They asked me to come back. They offered me my position again. Even more than before. Justice had finally arrived. And Vanessa? She got the call too. From the same people. But theirs was different. They told her never to contact them again. They told her her name was finished. They told her she was done. That night, she showed up at my door. No anger and no pride and no fight. Just emptiness. I lost everything, she said quietly. I looked at her. I know, I replied. She nodded slowly. You won. Yes, I said. But this isn't about winning. She looked confused. It's about balance, I continued. You took everything from me. Now you know how it feels. She sat on the floor and cried. I didn't stop her. I didn't comfort her. Some lessons must hurt to be learned. When she left, she didn't look back. And I knew something had ended forever. But something else was beginning. Because revenge does not always end with pain. Sometimes, it ends with freedom. The days after Vanessa's downfall were quiet. Too quiet. I sat in my apartment, notebook closed, my hands folded. I had won. She had lost everything. Her pride, her friends, her reputation, her life as she knew it. Justice, or what I believed was justice, was done. But winning didn't feel like I imagined it would. At first, I felt relief. A weight lifted off my chest. I could breathe again. My dreams, my career, my name, restored. I was respected, trusted, and back in control of my life. I smiled when I walked into the office. People greeted me. They apologized. They praised me. And for a moment, I felt free. But freedom was heavier than I expected. Because revenge leaves marks, not just on the person who suffered, but on the one who takes it. I thought about Vanessa. Alone in her small apartment, staring at the walls, probably crying herself to sleep. I had given her back everything she had given me, but in reverse. I had broken her. And now, the image of her frightened, empty face haunted me. I couldn't talk about it with anyone. Friends didn't understand. Colleagues thought it was just business. And family, well, they never knew the truth. I realized revenge is not fun. It is not sweet. It is slow. It is precise. And it is lonely. Months passed. Vanessa stayed away. She stopped calling. She stopped trying to rebuild. Every attempt failed. She had been burned too deeply. I kept my distance too. Not out of fear, but respect. Respect for the storm I had unleashed. Respect for the lesson she had finally learned. And respect for myself, because I had survived the betrayal and the fire. Sometimes, at night, I replay the moments. Her first panic. Her first fear. Her first real tears. Each memory was sharp, cutting deep, reminding me that I had done what I thought I needed to do. And yet, I also remember her confession. I thought destroying you would make me feel safe, she said. But it destroyed me instead. Those words echoed. Because she was right. Revenge doesn't just destroy the target. It leaves cracks in your soul. It changes you. Makes you someone new. Someone colder, sharper, and more careful. Someone who understands that trust is fragile and betrayal is lethal. And for me, that was the final gift. I had my life back. My respect. My career. My peace. But I was never the same. Vanessa had ruined my life once. I had taken everything from her in return. And in the silence that followed, I realized the truth about revenge. It's not about winning, it's not about proving a point, it's about balance. About making sure the scales are equal. About showing the person who hurt you what it feels like to lose. And when the storm ends, you are left standing. Alone, yes. But stronger. Clearer. Free. I walked to my window that night. The city lights sparkled below, indifferent to our story. People laughed, cried, and lived. Unaware of the battles fought quietly, the wars waged in shadows, and the vengeance delivered one careful, deliberate step at a time. I whispered into the dark. You took everything from me. I returned the favor. And now, we are even. And for the first time in years, I felt it, calm. The storm was over. The fire had burned. And I was finally free.